This video is sponsored by NordVPN. It is iPhone rumors time. We're talking about the 2019 iPhones when I just reviewed the 2018 iPhone XR like 6 days ago. It's wild, it's crazy, but there are some really interesting rumors to talk about actually, so let's go ahead and jump in. If you want to keep up to date on iPhone news over the course of the next year, make sure you drop a like down below and hit subscribe because we're going to be talking about a ton in the coming months. So a great place to start here is with screen sizes, and according to Apple analyst Min-Chi Kuo with a pretty great reputation, there are going to be 3 sizes yet again, pretty much exactly the same as in 2018. So a 5.8-inch OLED model, a 6.1-inch possibly OLED model, which is exciting, but still probably LCD, and also a 6.5-inch OLED model. Now, as far as naming goes, for me, since Apple did go iPhone at XS, it would make sense to call the next generation of OLED super premium iPhones iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Max, and we have no idea where Apple's going to go with the iPhone XR, because if they could go iPhone XRS, but then that's just 3 letters that are supposed to be sort of Roman numerals that don't exactly work there. So I have no idea what Apple's going to end up calling the second generation iPhone XR. Maybe just iPhone XR Mark II or second gen iPhone XR. But the same 3 screen sizes in 2018 are said to be maintained going forward to 2019. But that being said, I don't think that means that the exact design is going to remain the same, because one of the most exciting rumors that we've been hearing is that in 2019, either the new iPhones will have a smaller notch or possibly no notch at all. That's this part of the phone right here that there's been so much controversy about. Legitimately, I've said this in my reviews in the past, I've gotten used to it. It doesn't bother me that much, but if Apple could find a way to remove it, I would still be really excited just because it is there and it is annoying, although you adjust to it. There's a lot of people see comments all the time that it ruins the experience. You can never use the phone that way. And that is objectively not true. But let me know what your thoughts on this are down below in the comment section. Do you care about the notch still? Are you looking forward to a notchless iPhone one day? Who knows? Maybe next year, or maybe in 2020 or 2021, we will finally hit that benchmark where the iPhone doesn't have a notch, or any smartphone on the market doesn't have a notch. I feel like that's the next level or the next step to go from here. Now, inside of this possibly smaller notch, there is said to be an upgraded true depth camera system. That is the system that enables Face ID functionality, and Min-Chi Kuo says that there could be a new flood illuminator built into that, which would basically remove some invisible light. But other than that, hopefully Face ID gets a little bit quicker. We've heard one other rumor for the display though that I'm not excited about at all. It comes courtesy of Barclays, and they suggest that in 2019 all of the iPhones, including the iPhone 11 and 11 Max, could completely lose 3D Touch. And using the iPhone XR for a week, I mentioned in my review, that was one of the number one things that I missed, and the number one things that made me switch back to the iPhone XS. I like 3D Touch a lot, and I didn't realize how much I actually liked it until it was ripped out of the phone and removed completely. So I really hope that Apple does not go through with this. I'm hoping it was just an early prototype of the 2019 models, but I think removing 3D Touch, a premium feature that Apple has outlined as a premium feature for ultra premium phones, and removing that but keeping the exact same price tag on the iPhone 11 and 11 Max in 2019, maybe $1,000 and $1,100 respectively, I think that'd be a clear mistake, and I feel like there is no good reason to remove 3D Touch. It's a feature that most people like, and while there are some ways where long presses works on the iPhone, its best implementation is how Apple did it first on the iPhone 6s through the iPhone XS, where you can soft press and then hard press, peek and pop into things. It's one of my favorite features on the iPhone, and I've learned to really appreciate it. So I hope it doesn't go away, but of course, I'll keep you updated on that throughout the next year. Stepping aside from rumors and leaks for a second, one of the number one reasons that I use the iPhone over any other phone is because how much Apple cares about your privacy and how they're not just sharing your data with anyone and everyone. And when you're browsing the internet, that's hard because Google, Facebook, everybody wants your stuff. And sometimes you just want to be anonymous online and keep your private stuff private. That's why I partnered up with NordVPN, who sponsored today's video. They have over 4,800 servers in over 60 countries, and the connection is fast and reliable. So if you want to be anonymous online, you can. NordVPN does not touch your data. They're not selling it to anyone. all of your stuff stays private just like you want it to. And on top of all that, there is unlimited bandwidth, so you're never going to be restricted from browsing safely and securely online. Go ahead, check out NordVPN and use my link down below. They have a crazy good deal going on right now. So we're hearing a lot about the displays already, but what about the cameras? We actually usually don't hear a lot about the camera systems until very far on to the rumor or news cycle for iPhones each year. This year's a little bit different. We've already been hearing since before the iPhone XS was announced or leaked officially that the 2019 iPhones, at least one model, should have 3 lenses on the back. So I thought 2 already looked a little bit crazy, but I really appreciated 2 lenses. Now we're hearing 1, 2, 3 lenses. Now we don't know if it's going to be on even the lower cost LCD model like the iPhone XR Mark II, but I would assume on both the iPhone 11 and iPhone 11 Max that there will be a 3rd lens, just because those are going to be the ultra premium phones here. We don't know much about the megapixel count or if they're going to be some crazy actual internal camera improvements, but I assume that a 3rd lens would allow you to not only improve augmented reality features but also have a different set focal length. So on the iPhone right now, you can zoom 1x and 2x. If you had a 3rd lens, you could even increase that focal length more, so you could go 1x, 2x, and 3x. So you could do these crazy zooms without actually compromising photo or video quality. And I think that's a realistic direction for Apple to go in. A lot of the times when they add hardware features to the iPhone, they are pretty practical. Usually they're not gimmicks. It doesn't speak for every feature, but generally they have some pretty good function over form. So I think that's why, while a 3rd lens wouldn't look the most aesthetically appealing, these renders are courtesy of iDrop News, I do think it would serve a really functional purpose and would definitely be one of those features that could get some people to upgrade. Now inside, we are said to be seeing the A13 processor. We know nothing about the performance, but if the A12 Bionic or A12X is anything to show what Apple could be doing in the future, this iPhone is going to be ridiculously powerful, just like the iPhone 10 and iPhone 8, just like the iPhone XR and iPhone XS. Apple's processing team has been doing incredible things, and it's seriously starting to pay off. Like I said in my iPhone XR review, Apple was behind Android for years. It was always just a little bit slower, and they finally just buckled down, and they now make the fastest mobile processors on the market. And I also want to touch on this. Inside of the 2019 iPhones, we will not yet get 5G support. According to a new report from Fast Company, Apple is introducing 5G modems made by Intel in 2020, but in 2019, we're probably going to see very similar cellular antennas and performance as we did on the 2018 iPhones, so the iPhone XS and the iPhone XR. So no major cellular 5G upgrades this year. I feel like Apple should be aiming for 5G in 2019 just because it is starting to get more popularized in a lot of major cities, but we will have to wait till 2020 for that. All right, the last feature that I want to touch on for the 2019 iPhones is Apple Pencil support. According to both The Investor and Minchi Co., the 2019 iPhones could finally support the Apple Pencil. A number of sources right ahead of the iPhone XS launch said, yes, the iPhone XS will support the Apple Pencil, and that never happened. I guess it could happen through a future software update, but that definitely feels like that would be an iPhone hardware limited feature. Even though I think Apple could easily allow Apple Pencils to work on older iPhones. In 2019, it would be like the XS, the XR, and even the iPhone at 10. Apple loves to restrict new hardware features just to the newest models. So we don't know if this is a for sure thing yet, but we are hearing about it really early on, and generally things that we hear about very early on could potentially be true. A lot of the things that we hear early on, Apple has already decided or planned to do. I can totally see Apple doing this, but I am definitely a little bit skeptical just because we've heard about this what feels like forever. I feel like we've been hearing for 3-4 years now that the Apple Pencil is finally going to come to the iPhone this year, and then it's the next year. So maybe 2019 is the year, but based on what Apple hasn't done in the past, they haven't allowed the Apple Pencil to work on the new iPhones. I just don't know if it is going to actually become a reality, but who knows? With the new 2nd generation Apple Pencil, maybe that has some additional hardware functionality that Apple needs for it to work with an iPhone. We don't have any idea. Again, it is very early on, but Apple Pencil support, I think, would be a major win for the iPhone. Just expanded functionality there. All right, guys, so that is everything we know about the 2019 iPhones so far. The display sizes will remain remain exactly the same. They may not have 3D touch at all, which would be crazy, and they are going to have 2 OLED models and an LCD model, just like in 2018. There could be a smaller notch with an upgraded Face ID system, 3 cameras on the back, the A13 processor inside, no 5G support until 2020, and possibly Apple Pencil support coming. There's a lot more we're going to be talking about in the upcoming months, so if you don't want to miss that, hit subscribe down below and drop a like to see more videos like this moving forward. I've been Sam, and I'll catch you guys in my next video.